Ewu! Come and see! Ooh! Snake! Snake! Amaka screamed. Her voice echoed through the compound. Neighbors rushed out of their houses. Within minutes, the compound was full of men, women, and children, all trembling at the sight of the giant snake on the bed. In one quiet African village, there lived a man called Oche the Hunter. Oche was tall and muscular. His chest was broad, and his legs were strong from walking through the forest every day. He was known everywhere as one of the best hunters in the land. Whenever Oche entered the bush with his bow and arrows, he never came out empty-handed. He killed grass cutters, rabbits, antelopes, and sometimes even bush pigs. He was so skilled that people admired him. Children would run after him whenever he came back from hunting, shouting, "Hunter! Hunter! What did you catch today?" Women admired him because he was strong and fearless. Men respected him because he provided meat for the village. But Oche had one dangerous weakness. He loved women too much. Oche had a wife named Amaka. She was hard-working, beautiful, and loyal. She loved Oche dearly. Every time he went hunting, she would wait for him at home, cooking, washing, and keeping their compound tidy. She believed in him. She believed that one day his hunting skills would make them rich. But Amaka began to hear whispers. People started to say that Oche was disturbing women in the village. Some said he was chasing single girls. Others said he was chasing even married women. One night, Amaka could not hold her tears anymore. She waited until Oche finished eating his evening food and sat down to rest. "Oche, my husband," she began carefully, "I hear many things in this village. They say you are following women. They say you even disturb married women. My husband, is this true?" Oche laughed loudly. "Amaka, my wife, don't listen to them. People will always talk. Which man does not admire women? They are beautiful, and beauty is meant to be admired." Amaka shook her head sadly. "But you must be careful. A man who runs after women will one day enter trouble. Leave married women alone. Respect yourself. Respect me. Respect our family." But Oche waved her off and laughed again. He did not take her words seriously. Oche had a trick that made women fall for him. He used his hunting. Whenever he wanted to chase a woman, he would give her bushmeat. If he caught a rabbit, he would give the fattest one to her. If he killed a grass cutter, he would cut the sweetest part and present it to her. If he hunted an antelope, he would drop a big portion secretly at her doorstep. Many women loved meat, and Oche used this to his advantage. Some women refused him, but many accepted. And once a woman accepted his meat, Oche became bold and started disturbing her. Soon, his name spread across the village. Women were smiling at him more than usual. Men were frowning whenever they saw him. Rumors began to fly. People started saying, "That hunter will one day enter serious trouble." One afternoon, Oche was in the market boasting about his hunting when a man named Chike confronted him. "Oche," Chike shouted angrily, "stay away from my wife. I hear everything. You go near her when I am at the farm. If you try it again, you will see what I will do to you." The whole market became silent. Everyone's eyes turned to Oche. But Oche only smiled and said loudly, "If your wife does not like me, why does she collect my meat? Go and ask her, not me." The crowd gasped. Some laughed nervously. Others shook their heads in pity. Chike's body shook with anger. He raised his fist to fight, but elders rushed in and held him back. Still, Oche did not change. Things grew worse when Oche set his eyes on Ngozi, the wife of Okoro, a strong farmer with a fiery temper. One afternoon, Oche carried a fat grass cutter to Ngozi's farm. "My dear," he said smoothly, "take this. Cook it for yourself. Your husband cannot give you meat like this." Ngozi refused at first, but Oche kept pressing. Finally, she accepted the meat. What Oche did not know was that Okoro's younger brother had seen everything. The boy ran straight home and told Okoro. That evening, when Okoro returned from the farm, he saw the fresh grass cutter meat. "Where did this come from?" he demanded. Ngozi trembled and confessed that Oche had given it to her. Okoro's eyes turned red with rage. His voice shook as he shouted, "That useless hunter! He has insulted me in my own home! How dare he bring meat to my wife!" That night, Okoro called some men in the village to gather. "My brothers," Okoro began, his voice thundering. "This man Oche has crossed the line. We have warned him many times, but he does not listen. Today it is my wife. Tomorrow it may be yours. We must do something before this hunter destroys our families." The men murmured in agreement. One man said, "He came to my compound when I was away. My wife told me everything." Another man said, "He followed my wife to the stream. I almost caught him that day." Another added, "He went to my wife's farm with a rabbit. She refused him, but he did not stop talking." Every man there had a story. Every man there had a reason to be angry. The air grew hot with their anger. Some said, "Let us beat him and teach him a lesson." Some said, "Let us disgrace him in public." Others said, "Let us take him to the elders. He is becoming a shame to this village." Okoro raised his hand and said, "Enough. We cannot sit and watch this man scatter our homes. We must act, and we must act soon. Oche thinks he is smart, but we will catch him red-handed. Let us plan carefully." The men nodded in agreement. Their faces were hard with determination. That night they sat together, whispering their plans. They knew Oche's movements. They knew his tricks. They knew he would soon fall into their hands. And when he did, they promised to deal with him in a way he would never forget. The hunter was still moving proudly around the village, chasing after women, giving them meat, and laughing at his wife's warnings. But unknown to him, the men had joined hands. They had sworn to catch him. Oche's days of freedom were numbered. The village was waiting. The days passed in the small village. Oche the hunter did not change. Even after his wife Amaka warned him, even after men began to complain, he still chased women. Everywhere he went, he was looking for new faces, new smiles, new women to disturb. One hot afternoon, Oche went into the forest as usual. The sun was high in the sky, and the trees were very quiet. Birds sang faintly, and the sound of insects filled the air. Oche carried his bow and arrows, ready to hunt. But suddenly, he stopped. Right in front of him, under a tall tree, he saw something strange. A young lady stood alone. She was very beautiful. Her skin was smooth like fresh palm oil. Her hair was long and shiny, and her clothes were not like the ones women in the village usually wore. She was crying softly. Oche lowered his bow and walked closer. "My dear, why are you crying in the middle of the forest?" he asked gently. The girl raised her eyes. Her tears made her face look even more pitiful. I missed my way," she said in a trembling voice. "I don't know how to get back home. I have been walking for hours, and I am tired." Oche looked around. He could not see any footprints, no path, no sign of where she came from. "Where's your family? Which village are you from?" Oche asked again. The girl only shook her head and wiped her tears. "I don't know how to explain. Please help me. Please, don't leave me here." Oche's heart melted immediately. He was a man who loved women, and here was a beautiful young girl, helpless, alone, and needing help. Without thinking twice, he said, "Don't worry, I will take you home with me. My wife will take care of you until you are fine." The girl smiled weakly. "Thank you, kind hunter. Thank you." That evening, Oche returned to the village with the strange girl following him. The whole village stared in surprise. People whispered among themselves as they saw Oche leading the beautiful girl by the hand. When they entered the compound, Amaka, Oche's wife, came out quickly. She was shocked. "My husband, who is this?" she asked sharply. Oche smiled proudly. "I found her in the forest. She was crying. She missed her way, so I brought her home. We will keep her here until she is fine." Amaka frowned and looked at the girl carefully. Something about her did not look ordinary. Her eyes were too sharp, Her beauty was too strange. Her presence was too heavy. "My husband," Amaka said softly. "This girl does not look ordinary. Be careful. She may not be who you think she island." But Oche only laughed. "You women, you see danger everywhere. She is just a lost girl. Should I have left her alone in the forest? Don't disturb me, Amaka." The strange girl smiled sweetly at Oche, and Oche's heart beat faster. That night, Amaka could not sleep. She kept turning on her mat, praying silently. She felt something dark about the girl, but her husband would not listen. Days turned into weeks. The strange girl remained in Oche's house. Amaka kept warning her husband, but he refused to hear. He gave the girl food, he gave her gifts, and soon he stopped hiding his feelings. One morning, Oche stood before Amaka and said boldly, "I have made up my mind. This girl will not leave. She will stay here as my second wife." Amaka's heart broke. She cried and begged him, but Oche did not care. "Amaka," he said coldly, "you are my wife, but you cannot control me. I am the man of this house. I have decided. This girl is mine now." Amaka fell on her knees, tears flowing down her face. "My husband, please listen. She is not ordinary. She is not from here. You will regret this decision." But Oche walked away with the strange girl, smiling like a man who had won a treasure. News spread quickly in the village. "Oche has taken another wife. They say he brought her from the forest. Who knows where she came from? That hunter will bring trouble upon himself." Some people said the girl was a spirit. Some said she was from another village but was pretending. Some said she was a gift from the forest to destroy Oche. The men who had already been angry with Oche only shook their heads. This man is finished. He does not listen to anyone. Very soon he will meet his downfall. Life became very hard for Amaka. Her husband no longer cared for her. He gave all his attention to the new wife. He gave her meat, fine wrappers, and even a part of their farmland. Amaka became like a servant in her own home. One evening, as she sat outside crying, her neighbor came to comfort her. "Amaka, wipe your tears," the woman said gently. "Your husband is blind. The gods will fight for you." But Amaka only shook her head. "My husband is walking into a fire, and he does not know it. I can feel it in my spirit. That girl is not human, but he will not listen." Oche was proud of his new wife. Everywhere he went, he showed her off. "Look at my wife," he boasted. "Is she not the most beautiful woman in this village? The gods have blessed me. First, they made me the best hunter. Now, they have given me the best wife." People only looked at him and shook their heads. They knew something was wrong, but Oche was too blind with pride to see it. The new wife never went to the stream. She never went to the market. She always stayed at home. But her beauty never faded. She ate little, but her body was fresh. Sometimes, children who played near Oche's house swore they saw her eyes glow in the dark. When they told their parents, the parents only warned them, "Don't talk about it outside. Trouble is coming to this village." Meanwhile, the men in the village had not forgotten Oche's ways. "He has left our wives alone now," one man said. "But look at what he has done. He has brought a strange woman into this land." Another man added, "Did we not say this hunter will one day enter trouble? He is bringing danger to all of us. We must be careful." Okoro, the hot-tempered farmer whose wife Oche once disturbed, stood up in anger. "This is the last straw. That man thinks he is wise. He thinks he can do whatever he wants. Let us gather again. Let us plan. If we don't stop him, he will bring destruction to this whole village." The men nodded. Their faces were dark with anger. They began to whisper among themselves, planning their next move. Oche had no idea that the men were watching. He had no idea that his pride and stubbornness were pushing him closer to a trap. Oche, the hunter who never listened, had now taken a strange woman from the forest as his second wife. His wife, Amaka, was broken. The villagers were suspicious, and the men were angry. But Oche was too blind to see the storm rising around him. Something dark was waiting for him. And very soon, he would face it. The whole village was restless. People whispered in low tones whenever they passed Oche's compound. Everyone was talking about the strange new woman Oche brought home from the forest. Her beauty was beyond human. Her skin was smooth, her eyes were sharp, and her body never seemed to get tired. She did not farm, she did not fetch water, she did not pound food. Yet, every day she looked fresher and finer. But there was something about her that worried the villagers. Nobody had ever seen her drink water. Nobody had ever seen her bathe at the stream. She never joined the other women at the river, and she never came to the village square. She stayed only inside Oche's house, and yet she remained clean and shining like the morning Sunday. One afternoon, the men of the village gathered again under the big iroko tree. Okoro, the hot-tempered farmer, spoke first. "My brothers, are we going to keep quiet and watch this hunter destroy our land? That woman he brought is not normal. No one has seen her bathe. No one has seen her drink water. Who knows what she really is?" The men murmured in agreement. Some of them had also noticed the strange things. "She walks like she floats," one man whispered. "Her eyes shine like fire at night," another added. "Even dogs bark when they see her," someone else said. Finally, the men decided they would go to Oche's house and warn him directly. That evening, a group of them marched into his compound. Oche was outside, sharpening his arrows, while the strange woman sat nearby, quietly watching. Okoro stepped forward. His voice was strong and angry. "Oche, we have come to warn you. That woman you brought here is not human. Send her away before she brings trouble to you and to all of us." The other men nodded. "Yes, Oche, she is not like us. She does not fetch water. She does not bath. No one knows where she came from. Send her back." But Oche only laughed. His laugh was loud and proud. "My brothers, you worry too much," he said. "Must a woman bathe in the river before she is clean? Must she drink water in public before you believe she is human? Leave my wife alone. Not everybody announces to the whole world before they bathe or drink. Some people like privacy." The men shook their heads in disappointment. "Oche, you will not listen," Okoro said bitterly. "When trouble comes, don't say we did not warn you." They turned and left angrily. The strange woman only smiled faintly, her eyes following them as they walked away. That night, Oche's first wife, Amaka, sat with him. Her eyes were red from crying. "My husband," she whispered, "can you not see what everyone else is seeing? This woman is not normal. Even the village men are warning you. Please, send her away before something terrible happens." But Oche grew angry. "Amaka, stop this nonsense," he shouted. "You are only jealous because she is more beautiful than you. I am the man of this house, and I decide who stays here. If you cannot live with her, then you can leave." Amaka wept bitterly. She felt helpless. She had tried her best, but her husband was deaf to every warning. The next morning, Amaka went to the elders. She knelt before them in the village square. "Fathers," she cried, "please help me. My husband has brought a strange woman into our house. She is not human. Nobody sees her bathe or drink water. Please, warn him before it is too late." The elders sighed heavily. One of them, the oldest man in the village, shook his head. "My daughter, we are tired of your husband. We have warned him many times, but he never listens. He is proud. He is stubborn. Let him face whatever he is bringing upon himself." Another elder added, "Oche does not respect anybody in this village. He thinks he knows everything. Let him learn the hard way." Amaka's tears fell like rain. She begged and begged, but the elders refused to speak to Oche again. She walked home slowly, her heart heavy. She felt like a woman carrying a secret burden all alone. Meanwhile, gossip in the village grew louder. Some said, "That woman is a spirit from the river." Others said, "She is a ghost who eats in secret." Some even whispered, "She may be a witch sent to destroy Oche." Children were told not to go near Oche's compound. Women crossed the road whenever they saw the strange woman standing outside. Even animals seemed restless around her. But Oche was blind. He only grew prouder. "Look at my wife," he boasted in the market. "She is the most beautiful woman in this land. The gods have blessed me more than any man here." People only looked at him and shook their heads. That night, Amaka tried again. She knelt before Oche, tears streaming down her face. "My husband, please listen. I have been your wife for many years. I have stood by you through hunger and through plenty. I am not jealous. I am only worried for you. That woman will bring disaster. Please, send her away before it is too late." But Oche's face was hard. He pointed at the door. "Amaka, if you don't like it, you can leave. Stop talking nonsense about my wife. She is mine, and she is staying. End of discussion." Amaka broke down, wailing bitterly. Her heart ached as if it was being torn apart. She knew something evil was coming, but her husband was blind, and the elders had washed their hands off him. She was alone. The men had warned Oche. His wife had begged him. The elders had given up on him. But Oche's pride was too strong. He refused to see the danger in front of him. The strange woman in his house smiled quietly, her secrets hidden deep inside her heart. Something dark was about to happen, and the whole village could feel it. The cock crowed 3 times that morning, announcing a new day in the village. The sun had not fully risen, and mist still covered the forest paths. Birds chirped softly, and the breeze was cool. Oche, the hunter who loved women, picked up his bow and arrows. He tied his leather bag across his chest and whistled happily. "I will bring back a big antelope today," he told his wife Amaka as he stepped out. "Prepare firewood for roasting." Amaka only sighed. She did not answer him. Her heart was heavy. For weeks, she had been praying silently for God to expose the strange woman Oche brought into their home. She was tired of warning her husband. She was tired of crying to the elders. She was tired of living in fear. As Oche disappeared into the forest, Amaka went back inside the house to sweep and tidy the rooms. But when she pushed open the door to Oche's inner room, what she saw froze her body. There, lying on Oche's bed, was not a human. It was a huge python. Its body coiled round the bed frame. Its tongue flicked in and out, making a hissing sound. Its eyes were red like burning coal, staring directly at Amaka. She opened her mouth and screamed louder than she had ever screamed in her life. "Eewoo! Come and see! Ooh! Snake! Snake!" Her voice echoed through the compound. Neighbors rushed out of their houses. Within minutes, the compound was full of men, women, and children, all trembling at the sight. Nobody had ever seen such a massive python before. Its size was enough to swallow a goat in one bite. Women grabbed their children and held them tight. Men picked up sticks and cutlasses, but none dared to go close. The snake looked too dangerous. Whispers spread through the crowd. Could this be the same strange woman Oche brought? I said it. She was never human. Ah, may the gods protect us. Everyone's heart pounded in fear. Some wanted to run, but curiosity kept their feet rooted to the ground. Amaka, still shaking, cried out, "Did I not warn you all? Did I not say this woman is not ordinary? Look at what has been living with us in this house." The villagers were now fully convinced that their fears had been true from the beginning. But what could they do? A python was on the hunter's bed, a python that stared at them as if it understood their every word. In the middle of the confusion, someone shouted, "Go and call the native doctor." A group of boys ran quickly to fetch him. After some time, the old man appeared, holding his bag of charms. His body was covered with chalk marks, and cowries rattled around his neck. When he entered Oche's compound and saw the snake, he shook his head slowly. "This is not an ordinary python," he said in a deep voice. "This is a spirit in disguise." The villagers gasped and moved back in fear. The native doctor brought out a small calabash, poured some palm wine on the ground, and began chanting incantations. He shook his rattle and sprinkled white powder into the air. The snake hissed and shook its body, but it did not strike. The chants grew louder, and the atmosphere became heavy, as if the air itself had turned thick. Then, before everyone's eyes, something strange happened. The python began to twist and turn violently on the bed. Its body stretched and shrank, its skin glowing like fire. The villagers screamed and stepped back, holding one another tightly. Within moments, the huge snake disappeared, and standing on the bed was the same beautiful woman Oche had brought home from the forest. Her eyes shone like flames, and her long hair fell down her shoulders. She looked calm, but her presence sent shivers down everyone's spine. The villagers were too shocked to speak. Children hid behind their mothers, and men swallowed hard, unable to move. Amaka collapsed to her knees, crying uncontrollably. So it is true, she was never human. Just then, Oche returned from the forest. He was carrying 2 bushfowls tied to his belt, smiling proudly. But when he entered the compound and saw the crowd, his smile faded. "What is happening here?" he asked. Then his eyes turned to his bed, and what he saw made him drop his bow and arrows. His legs trembled, and his heart nearly jumped out of his chest. It was the woman, his second wife, the one he had brought from the forest, the one he had defended even against his first wife, even against the whole village. Now she stood before him, with her tongue still waggling, revealed for what she truly was. Oche's mouth opened, but no words came out. Sweat poured down his face. His knees shook. For the first time in his life, the proud hunter was completely helpless. The woman looked at him for a long time. Her eyes were sad, yet powerful. She said nothing. She did not weep. She did not shout. Slowly, she stepped down from the bed. The villagers quickly moved aside, giving her space as she walked. Nobody dared to stop her. Children cried, and mothers covered their faces. Without turning back, she walked out of Oche's compound. Her steps were slow but firm, as if she knew exactly where she was going. She passed through the village square. People watched in silence. Nobody spoke. Nobody dared to follow. Finally, she entered the thick forest and disappeared. She never returned again. Silence hung over the village after she left. People stared at Oche, waiting for him to speak, but he stood frozen, his eyes wide and his mouth shaking. The truth had finally broken him. That night, Oche sat alone in his compound. He could not eat. He could not sleep. His mind kept replaying the image of the python Amaka had described to him, the chants of the native doctor he was imagining, and the transformation of his wife into something he could not explain. He remembered all the warnings. He remembered his wife's tears. He remembered the men's anger. He remembered the elders' silence. And for the first time, shame covered him completely. From that day onward, Oche was never the same again. He stopped chasing women. He stopped boasting in the market. He stopped ignoring advice. He became a quiet man, a man who carried his bow to the forest and returned home silently. The hunter who once thought he could have any woman he wanted learned the hardest lesson of his life. The villagers never forgot the day a python turned into a woman in Oche's house. Parents told the story to their children at night, warning them about greed, pride, and disobedience. And whenever young men laughed at their wives or boasted about chasing women, the elders would remind them, "Do you want to end up like Oche the hunter?" Because everyone knew what happened to Oche, and no one wanted to walk his path. Did you learn anything from this story? Let me know in the comments section. Tell me everything you learned from this story. Please, leave your answers and join the conversation below in the comments section. If you enjoyed watching and listening to this story, then click on that like button and subscribe to this channel now so that you can see more of my interesting stories and folktales. Thank you so much for watching this video to this very end. Click on any of the video links above to watch more of my interesting stories on this channel.